Good morning and happy Tuesday from my basement. Welcome back to Vlogmas. I am doing something that I'm super proud of myself for doing, and that is working out when I have been feeling so crummy thanks to hormones and waiting for Aunt Flo, who's supposed to be here Thursday, and it's Tuesday. So hopefully 2 more days and this will all start to work itself out and I'll feel more normal again. Please, Lord in heaven. But I woke up this morning with enough energy to actually be like, I'm going to get up, have my coffee, do my Advent Bible study. I played with Miss Gracie, and then I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go downstairs and work out. Not because I have to, not because of a particular step goal, just because I feel like it. And when you're 2 days out from your period and you've had the worst PMS that you've had in a long time, that's a really huge accomplishment. So I'm gonna do it before I run out of time. I just talk myself and procrastinate myself into not doing it. So I'm here, I'm holding myself accountable. Today, I think, well, I don't actually know what today is going to bring, but I think maybe we'll talk about some like health and nutrition stuff today, because why not? That sounds fun, right? So the plan today is cardio and maybe some like Pilates moves on the floor. I don't feel, when I lift weights, I have often noticed, as I've been more in tune with my body, that and there's like biological cyclical proof to prove this. This has been talked about in cycle syncing type stuff. But you're a little bit weaker when you're closer to your period. And I just am not willing to be like, let's push my body through with these heavy weights when I know I'm already on the weaker side of my cycle. So weight training might have to wait until after my period, which is totally fine. The movement is more important than just the individual workout. So I'm gonna get the cardio going, I'm gonna get on my elliptical, I'm gonna turn on some Vlogmas and just have a nice, leisurely, but effective workout. True story, that was actually a really difficult workout to do. My energy was like, yes, let's go. And then as soon as I started, my body was like, why are you doing this to me? Why? My legs felt very, very heavy. The go did not want to go. But I did half an hour. It was a slow mosey, but I did it. And then I did a little stretching. Now I have to go upstairs, take a shower, get myself looking presentable, and we've got a busy day of things to accomplish today. I just got off a work call with a collaboration that I'll be able to tell you about really soon. Hopefully, if all goes well, it's gonna be an ongoing collaboration. So super, super stoked about that. But first, I had one of those experiences where like, okay, I know it's late luteal phase and like your appearance is just supposed to be blah, right? But I don't know if it was because I was in a rush or how much it was because of what I'm about to tell you about. But let's talk like beauty tips for a second, but also inconsistency in said beauty tips. So bottom line, I know like the camera is doing me so, it's doing me so good. It's doing me so good because my skin is apparently, I didn't realize my skin was as flaky and dry as it apparently is. So because I had this work call, I got up, I worked out, I showered, and then I wanted to throw some makeup on so I could sit on Zoom and have my work call, right? And look like a put together professional. And so I threw on my Ulta Beauty primer, and then I was like, we're gonna go light makeup today. Let me throw on my Maybelline Superstay Skin Tint, which I have been raving about in the right situations, right? I've been putting it on, I'm like, man, my skin looks incredible. I have some of that on video, you know? And as I was buffing it and buffing it and buffing it, it started to like pill, and oh my gosh, it was terrible. And then so I actually put on, I don't know if you can still see it, I actually put on one of the NYX liquid blushes, the like bright, like the mauvey berry pink color, very, very little of it, and actually looks really, really good. So I'm a fan of that. I was like, I'm just gonna throw on a little bit of the tint, a little bit of the blush, call it a day, the camera will do the rest, right? As I'm getting everything else done, I'm noticing that the skin is looking worse and worse. So then I'm like, oh, it's so flaky. Let me give it a little spritz with this Peach and Lily like hydrating setting mist that I have. And like everything went to crap. And, oh my, I can't even explain to you. Like it was like the foundation was melting off of my face. And then because I had the dry scaly skin, it was like melting into this. I literally took a tissue and I was like, no makeup is better than what is happening right now. And I wiped 90% of it off, except for my cheeks, because my cheeks with the blush on it looked fine. I was like, what in the name of all things is happening? So I went back to my education in makeup, which all has occurred on YouTube, right? And Marlena Stell, previously known as, or Estelle, I think, previously known as Makeup Geek, has some really great content out there about like the basics of makeup application. And two of the really valuable things that she has taught is three of the really valuable things that she has taught. One, when you're doing your eyeshadows, layer lightest shade to darkest shade because they mix easier that way. Interesting. Okay, fine. Two, when you are picking brush or makeup sponge to use with your foundations, you use makeup brushes for thin viscosity, more liquidy foundations, and you use a makeup sponge for the thicker viscosity. So like if you put the foundations on your hands, the ones that run down, you want to use a brush for those. The ones that kind of stay put, that are really, really thick and creamy, you want to use a wet beauty blender for. And that's actually been game-changing for my foundation application. And then the other rule of thumb is if you are using a silicone-based primer, you must use a silicone-based foundation. If you are using a water-based primer or you want to use a water-based foundation, you must use a water-based primer. I have not struggled with the issue yet of using the Superstay whatever, the Maybelline stuff. And so, but like this was so dramatic, like it was utterly terrible. And I don't know how much of it was I really need to use my dermaplaner and get all of the layers off of my skin. I plan on doing that later tonight. Tonight we're going to have, if all goes according to plan, I'm going to have a little me time, especially since the hockey game is super late tonight. It doesn't start till 9:00 p.m. 9:00. So I'm gonna have, my plan is to take a bath with one of my Fluid bath soaks, the really like high potency magnesium and relaxing bath soaks that my mom got me for Christmas. And I'm gonna do the dermaplaner. I'm gonna just have a whole nice little me night, right? It's gonna be lovely. Feels right with PMS, but my period hasn't started yet, so I don't feel weird sitting in a bathtub. Like, it's gonna be perfect. Anyway, I don't know how much of it was that and how much of it is just that I haven't noticed, or have I really not been using my primer with this particular foundation? I don't know, but I Googled the ingredients. I Ulta'd the ingredients, went to Ulta, looked at the ingredients list and the primer that I use and the foundation that I used. And the first ingredient in the foundation is water. And then the second and third ingredient are two different kinds of silicones. The second one is isodecane and then dimethicone. And I know dimethicone, I Googled isodecane or whatever you call it. And then in the primer, there is the first ingredient is cyclo blah, 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 blah. Cyclopentasilicane, which is obviously a silicone. Dimethicone, and now that I'm seeing it, okay. And so here's the thing, I have an old version of this primer. I'm presuming this is the primer that it is. Although now that I'm looking at it, it might not be. Anyway, their new soft blur primer, which I'm assuming is the formula that I have just in the old packaging, but I don't know. Ulta Beauty's brand did a total revamp of their products, and as I run out of products, I will be trying some more of their new products because they're so reasonably priced and often on sale. Like, I'm almost out of this primer. I will likely be getting just another Ulta Beauty primer. So if I'm right, and this is the same formula, there is no water in this blur primer. And the first ingredient in the foundation is water. And so they don't mix, which is why everything went to crap as soon as I really tried to pile things on. It was going fine until I added more. And then when I added too much, and it wasn't that much, it was awful. It was awful. So bad. And then, of course, it stands to reason that if I had the silicone-based primer, heavily silicone-based primer with the water as the first ingredient foundation, and then I sprayed a water-based product on top of it, of course the primer went, I'm sorry, what? And just melted off my face. Anyway, use those 3 tips if you're somebody who's looking to just level up your makeup know-how a little bit. Light eyeshadows first, then dark eyeshadows. I break this rule with glitters because I use like my finger and dab the glitters on top because I want the glitters to be bam, you know? But in general, light then dark. With thick viscosity foundations, you use a wet blending sponge. With thin viscosity foundations, you use a foundation brush. And do not mix silicone primers with water-based foundations and vice versa. The more you know. I have not one, but 2 things to share with you that I streamed today while I was doing other work. So I heard about this documentary on Amazon Prime called Glitter and Greed, the Lisa Frank story. Now y'all know that like Lisa Frank is the ultimate nostalgia fix for me. I look at the old products of the late 90s and early 2000s and I get giddy. I get feelings of excitement in my body. Oh, it's just so good. It's just so good. But here's the problem. Lisa Frank was actually a horrible person. And the company was a horrible company, is a horrible company. And so, long story short, if you want the 411, go watch this documentary. I'm going to safely assume that a lot of you have access to Amazon Prime, which is going to be relevant in a second for a completely different reason. So I started, it's a 4-episode mini-series, docu-series thing. And while I was packing my bag today, did I tell y'all that I packed an entire suitcase of clothes today? Like, we're doing things. We're getting things done. We're checking off the to-do list and not saving things for the last minute. Congratulations to me. So while I was doing that this afternoon, I turned on the TV in my bedroom and decided to turn that on to listen to it while I was packing. And we're not even to like the good stuff yet. We're in just like the history stuff. And the drama is just about to start. And oh my gosh, it's so intriguing. But the problem is, and if you follow me on TikTok, you've been hearing about this already. The problem is the Lisa Frank stuff, I'm still like looking at it. It's making me so nostalgic that I'm like, but I still want it. I still want the stuff, even though the company is morally bankrupt, which is not right. It's not right. So actually somebody commented, why don't you, support small businesses who make similar things? And I was like, that's brilliant. Do you have any suggestions? So if y'all, outside of Erin Condren, because that was my Lisa Frank fix as an adult. One of the reasons I love it is because, let's be clear, I'm not using any Erin Condren products in 2025. I started using them in 2014 and I had been an avid Erin Condren user because it was like Lisa Frank for adults. Here is a practical paper planner, but let me make it bright, bold, and colorful and fun for you. What more could a Lisa Frank girl ask for, right? But I just haven't been using their products the last couple of years. I've gotten some products and I just never use them consistently. So I'm completely changing up what I do this year or next year. And I have no regrets about it. But other than Erin Condren, what other brands, small companies, small businesses, whatever, what gives you... Alexa, stop. What gives you that same nostalgic Lisa Frank feeling? Let me know. So then, as I went upstairs and I've been doing other stuff, editing some videos, doing some work, making phone calls and packing some more, toiletries, makeup, etc., really trying to get things done because we leave soon, I decided to watch a new documentary that I heard about on TikTok because somehow I have ended up on 2025 under consumption core TikTok. And spoiler alert, one of my goals for 2024 is to actually do just that. It is to use what I have. And you will be getting my goals video very soon. I've already filmed it. It's in the can for you guys, waiting to get published in a couple of days. But y'all, I've already had this goal. I'm like, I am kind of, even though I'm in a current season, as every video I feel like in Vlogmas has been me unboxing something, I'm currently in a season of consumption, of purchasing, of getting. But once the holiday season is over, I need to put the kibosh on that. I do. And I feel it. Like I can feel it in my bones. I'm like, why do we have all this stuff? But I want more stuff. But I don't actually need any more stuff. And I'm really heavily leaning towards the side of like, but I don't actually need any more stuff. Like, what if, here's a novel novel concept. What if we used what we had instead of buying more? Who needs 3 foundations and 2 powder foundations and 7 blushes and 5,000 lip products? Because I now own 5,000 lip products, not literally, but it feels like it some days, because I've been acquiring more lip products the last couple of months, including that NYX advent calendar, which was almost entirely lip products. I have no regrets. I'm very, very excited to have all of those things. But now is the season of using what I have. So I've already made this decision, right? I already made this decision. And then somehow I ended up on No Buy 2025 TikTok, and Under Consumption 2025, and all of these plans for people to actually use the stuff they have. All of the stuff they have, not buying clothes, not buying makeup unless they run out of something, or toiletries. The list of things that I could go through and be like, do I really need to buy these things? Clothes, candles, body lotions, shower gels, moisturizers, the mini toiletries that I have, the number of mini toiletries. So the problem with the skincare stuff is you want to find products that you just use and love your skin. And you can't do that if you're using teeny tiny little things for like 4 days at a time and then you switch up the product. But that would be for a season, and then I would use up all of the small stuff and then be able to get grandfathered into the products that I really want to have in my routine and be done with it. Simplify, right? Just the amount of stuff that I could underconsume. So while I don't know that I'm going to officially declare 2025 a no-buy year, it's going to be much more underconsumption core and much more mindful purchasing, which is really difficult to maintain like an online influencer business and be an underconsumer at the same time. Because what do like the true influencers, I don't consider myself a true influencer, I'm a content creator, but every once in a while I like to, play influencer, and whenever I can, I put links to things that are commissionable links that'll help get me, a penny at a time when you purchase something. But every little bit counts when you're trying to make this a full-time income, right? It's really hard to give that up, because what am I going to share if I'm not staying current? But you know what? I don't care. I don't care. I would rather create content about using up what I have than continuing this buy. If we keep buying, we're going to run out of room, right? Anyway, this document. Oh, she must have just done that. I have the camera running.
I don't know where my key is for the mailbox.
It should be in your car.
I know. Did you move it when I spilled everywhere?
I might have, but where would I have put it?
That's what I'm wondering.
Center.
I'm sorry, are you recording?
Yes.
Hi, family.
Said
This
hi.
is for me.
What is this?
The box.
No, it's the replacement for Aiden's book. Hopefully that one's not banged up and I can go wrap presents and be done with that task. Woohoo! I've only got 3 left to wrap and I'm done. Done. Happy day. Anyway, the documentary that I watched on Netflix that I heard about from TikTok, which is that whole thing was a prelude to this story, is called Buy Now. And it basically talks about the horrors of businesses, especially, man, do they throw Amazon under the bus. Big time, as I literally got an Amazon package delivered. But it's about how computer companies, Apple, Dell, printers, and Amazon don't actually, when they're designing products, they don't think about the end of life of the product and how there is so much clothes waste and electronics waste just being like shipped to the other side of the world and is actually causing the environmental disaster. And they're blaming the companies more than the consumers, but the consumers are also the problem. It was a really fascinating 90-minute documentary. If you want to be in check with your stuff a little bit, I highly recommend it. I do. So, there's my 2 cents on that. Last night, it's morning, by the way. It's morning. I did in fact take my bath with my Fluid bath soak. Apparently my mom got me like a set of ache erasing ones and a set of like anxiety easing ones, and then like as a bonus there was one insomnia busting one, and I didn't want to use the insomnia one, so I used the anxiety erasing one. And so I sat in the tub for about half an hour. One problem with my tub, and one thing that I was reminded of, is in our old condo, the bathtub was a little larger. It was a little deeper. And so I wanted to bathe in there more often because I could successfully submerge my body without the little like emergency drain activating, right? And in this tub, in order to fully submerge, I have to go over the emergency drain thing. Now I have heard that there are like drain covers you can get, like silicone covers or something, to prevent the drain from activating, which on one hand is a really great idea. On the other hand, it's not such a great idea. So I have to decide whether or not I want to get one of those. If you're somebody that has one of those and you like it, let me know which one it is. But I did do that. And then I did the dermaplaning tool. I haven't talked about this in a while, but I got this. It's the DermaFlash electric dermaplaning tool. I got this for Christmas last year. And now that I'm thinking about the timeline, because I was in Florida for Thanksgiving, this is already a year old. This was a year old Thanksgiving. And I really, really do love it. Now, when I first got it, I was really good about doing it every single week. So what it is, you have these little razor blades in here and it vibrates, right? And then you do the thing and it's a whole process, and you use this like specific oil removing cleanser beforehand and whatnot. But the first time you do it, the results are magnificent. Magnificent, because you get rid of all the peach fuzz and all the hair and all the dead skin. But if you do it more regularly, the results seem less fantastical, right? So I was really, really diligent about doing it at first, probably for about 4 or 5 months. And then I got progressively less diligent about it. And so now I probably do it every 4 to 6 weeks, which I'm actually not mad about. In the winter, admittedly, when we return from travel, I should probably do it every week or two, simply because of the dry, right? And the whole makeup melting issue from yesterday is the whole reason that I was like, tonight, DermaFlash, for sure. Because I needed to get rid of the dry skin on my face. And that's exactly what I did. The amount of stuff, like flakes and hair and peach fuzz, that just peeled off my face with this little razor was so satisfying. Oh my gosh. Gross, but satisfying. And so then what happens is you use the cleanser to like dry your skin out. Then you remove all the dead, and then I pile moisturizer on. Like my nighttime serum, I use the Kiehl's Midnight Recovery Concentrate that I usually use like 4 drops of. I use like half a dropper full, so it's probably at least twice as much. And I just put it all over, and I glisten like a greased up pig after I do this. So you put in all the moisturizer, and then you let that sit, and then you put your serum, then you put your moisturizer on top of it, and then you wake up looking like this. I mean, so that's what I did last night. And then hockey. Hockey is what dictates a lot of our schedule, right? Because my husband loves hockey. The Florida Panthers, are on the West Coast this week or two, which means all of the games are stupid late. So the game didn't even start till 9 o'clock last night. So by 10:30, I was in bed listening to another episode of the Lisa Frank thing, which I'm probably going to have to rewatch because I started falling asleep in the middle of it. And then I was in bed. I was done for the night. I'm like, you come to bed whenever you want to. I'm going to go lay in bed, and then subsequently fell asleep. So that's where we're at for now. Thank you so much for spending this Vlogmas day with me. I will talk to you all tomorrow. Have a wonderful rest of your day.